Rockstar have confirmed the Red Dead Online summer update and have stated that there will be more outlaw activities such as robberies come into the game. This brings a lot of excitement, but with that also comes speculation. I have spoken to many players about the update and have also seen other content creators voicing what they would like to see. But today we are doing a deep dive on what is actually possible and what isn't. Before I do get into the video, if you do want to see any more content from me, then there is a link in the description down below which will take you over to the second YouTube channel. On that second YouTube channel, I am doing live streams every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So if you do want to be a part of that, there is a link in the description down below. Getting back into the video, I've always wanted to play as an outlaw within Red Dead, but I've always felt, and so many other players have always felt, that it's just not possible. The closest we have of being an outlaw is the moonshine role, and it is one of the most popular roles within the game, but it still doesn't let players do the things that they want to do. I've always wanted to rob stores and camps, and it does look like we will be able to do something like that in the next update. But I have also seen a lot of players speculating about what these robberies will actually be. For most players, they're keeping an extremely low expectation for heists, and this is smart because it was only the previous update where Rockstar said heists will come at some point, but it is not on the table right now. They're focusing on building the rest of the world instead. Not to mention that Rockstar have always said that they're trying to build this world slowly and not just jump ahead to the content that everyone is wanting right this second. They want players to feel like as soon as they get into the game, they start off out in the wilderness and then slowly progress their character. So heists coming to the game is unlikely, and that makes players look towards the next big thing, which is robbing the stores that are currently within the game. This is the type of content that players want. You can already do this within the Red Dead Redemption 2 story. This is the reason of why people want it within online. But bringing this from story to online can be slightly difficult. There are a total of 8 different general stores dotted around the world of Red Dead Online, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's important for the things that we're going to be talking about in this video. So if robberies were added to free roam, there are only 2 main options which are available, and neither of them are particularly amazing. The first way is that whilst in free roam, at any point you can go over to one of these stores and rob them, which is just what people want. You go over to any store, walk in, point your gun to the person behind the counter and take the money. All of this is pretty cool and fun until you realize that the number of players in each lobby exceeds the amount of stores that are available. So you will have a situation, especially on day 1, where everyone wants to rob these stores, where it will lead to players going over to certain stores for there already to be a robbery in progress. It will either lead to a situation where you go to the exact same store and rob them at the exact same time, or it could bring in some grief in situations which Rockstar have tried so hard to prevent. It would also be situations where someone might be going to a store not necessarily to rob it. Maybe they're trying to buy the latest discounted beans, but all of a sudden someone walks in and it just becomes very messy. You'll end up spending most of your time waiting for content to become active whilst you're waiting for the current player going through the current robbery. And as soon as that's finished, that's when you can walk in and go again. Not really fun. The second option is that robberies will take advantage of client-side content. With any type of online game, the online component is broken down to client-side and server-side. Server-side means that everyone can see the same thing as what you can, whereas client-side means that only you can see it. A good example of this is that animals are server-side. Every animal you see can also be seen by other players. Otherwise, you'll have situations where players will be shooting what seems to be nothing on your end, but on their end, they're shooting animals. An example for client-side is if you selected a moonshine or traded delivery and Cribs and Marcel did the cinematic. If you are part of a posse, only the posse leader can see this. The rest of the posse members just see a wagon randomly spawn in. That cinematic for you is client-side. So hopefully I've explained both of these terms well. So with this in mind, Rockstar could make general store robberies client-side. They are already client-side when you interact with the Wheeler, Rawson & Co. catalog, so Rockstar won't have to change this. It would allow anyone to walk in and point their gun at the person behind the counter and rob the store. And you'll be able to have multiple players do this at the exact same time at the exact same store. But the issue now comes with immersion, as you could potentially have several people all robbing the exact same store without any of them knowing until they do actually leave the store. And because it is client side, it would also mean that you're only going to be able to do this by yourself. If you walked in with a posse, all posse members would see something different. So this does mean that both versions of these types of robberies being added to free roam are not great. They both have problems, and I know exactly what you're going to say. GTA has stores that you can rob, and this is true. There is a total of 20 different stores within GTA where you can just go over and you can rob the store. But those stores are specifically designed and their primary purpose is for players to be able to rob them. Whereas stores such as clothing, ammunition, the tattoo parlor, the barber shop, the car wash, all of these other stores are the exactly same as Red Dead, where as soon as you walk in, your weapon is immediately holstered and you're not allowed to bring it out again whilst in that shop. The second you leave, you can select any weapon you want. And this is because GTA has the exact same design problem if you were able to rob these stores. So what does this mean if content like this was going to be added? Firstly, Rockstar could add 20 plus different locations for the sole purpose of being robbed in free roam. This is exactly what GTA has. And just like the Red Dead Online general stores, gunsmith, fence, bait shop, tailor, it's all like GTA ammunition, tattoo parlor, barbershop, and car wash. Those stores will be left as it is and nothing will change. But the new stores that are added are there just so they can be robbed, and this is 100% doable from Rockstar and the current design for Red Dead. But the question comes down as to where these 20 locations are going to be. This building's not being used in St. Denis, Valentine, Strawberry, and Blackwater, but it is limited because Red Dead Online is set 1 year before RDR2. There's the issue that some players will be disappointed in the game and even lose a little love for Red Dead Redemption 2 story if Red Dead Online all of a sudden brings up random buildings across the world that don't actually exist within RDR2. There's also the issue of workload. If we were to look at the different buildings within these different towns, no building is the exact same. It's not like the Moonshine Shack, which is the exact same building being duplicated in multiple locations and has the exact same interior. Or even like the stores that can be robbed in GTA, which all have a very similar interior and exterior. So without changing the buildings and the way that they currently look within the game, Rockstar will have to build interiors for each one of them and they'll all have to be unique. That's a lot of interiors to make, as we were talking about there being 20 different rooms. And all of this does need to go through the spatial cinematography department, and that's a lot of work for one very small team. If you are interested in what type of work needs to be done here, then I do highly recommend that you take a look at the GDC talk from Rockstar themselves. Link to that can be found in the description down below. It should also be said on this note that they don't necessarily need to be stores. We could, and this is something that's going to be so much easier, and I do kind of want Rockstar to do this, is that they could add different camps across the world which you can just go over to and rob at any moment. These could very well play out like dynamic events, or we could still have set locations for these camps. Both sides work very well, but as already mentioned, there is a huge portion of the community that are already set in their ways and wanting to rob stores more than anything else. So this is definitely a solution, but it will lead to some players being very unhappy with what has been pushed. The second, and also the most likely, is robbing stores will be part of a separate lobby as a mission. This is the same as legendary bounties, some infamous bounties, legendary animals, the first lot of stranger missions for each stranger, missions, and telegram missions. Having these types of robberies as part of a separate lobby gives a lot more freedom. You no longer have the design issues because you don't have to worry about other players because you're going into a separate lobby where there is no other players apart from you and your posse. And then also doesn't bring up the issues of it just being client side where you can see something different to what your other posse members are seeing. Now it's part of the server, but you are all part of the exact same lobby doing your own thing, and there's a lot more freedom behind the design and what can actually be done. What would need to happen if this was the case was that there would need to be some sort of way for there to be a lot more replayability. With the current stuff that has been added being legendary bounties, infamous bounties, legendary animals, stranger missions when you first go through them, main missions and Telegram missions, they all have the issue of the lack of replayability. You play through them once and you never want to play through them again. So what Rockstar will need to do is give multiple ways in which you can actually go through these types of missions. Kinda like what we have with the GTA Online heist, where there's multiple ways to go about it, but it would have to be done on a smaller scale. Because as already said, heists coming to this game is extremely unlikely at this point. So we have gone through all the different ways in which players are wanting to have robberies added to the game, and unfortunately a lot of these ways won't work with the current design of the game. But we have provided some solutions. We have looked at 2 ways that can easily be done. One way involves adding 20 different locations, which could be absolutely anything. It could be random locations where there's people just waiting there, different camps or stores themselves. But all of them are added for the sole purpose of being robbed and don't provide any other benefit. This is exactly what GTA has. This could also be part of dynamic events or just set locations which are there 24/7 no matter what. The second option and most likely option is that they will be part of missions or as separate lobbies. That way you will be able to rob different houses, different mansions, different people, different types of stores, whatever it is, but it will be done within a separate lobby. A separate lobby where you can go by yourself or you can bring posse members. This is also where we go and throw it over to you guys. I have now broken down everything with all the different design and all the different technical difficulties that Rockstar will encounter if they were to add free roam robberies. We've also provided 2 different solutions, and I'm curious of out of those 2 solutions, which one would you most like to have as part of the next update? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you do want to see any more content from me, whether it be on other platforms, maybe even a second YouTube channel where I stream every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, links to everything can be found in the description. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.